Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is an exclusive here on the Male Soap Opera Moment. Damascus Dez's Cook Show. He's earned it. Damascus Des, your reigning, defending, undisputed prediction champion. Listen, I can be a good loser, okay? I can take the L because a W is coming back to the wins when it counts at WrestleMania. Wensler, WrestleMania, WWE. Here we go. What's it going to be tonight? You got Sketty? You got Sketty? What are we doing?
I'm actually making a chili. I'm making a chili.
Perfect night for chili.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be real rainy. It's going to be, kind of dreary outside. Can't do better than chili.
You want me to pour some beer in your chili?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I got a Pepsi if you want that too.
We're not wasting a perfectly good chili.
or a perfectly good beer for that matter. So,
Or perfectly good Pepsi.
That's arguable. What kind of beer do you have?
oh, sir, only the best. Terrapin, Hopsecutioner. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
For me, it's a lager or bust.
But we're also open to sponsorships from any other beer company that want to sponsor the show, provide us beer. You don't have to pay us. Just give us beer. I don't even care about money. Here for the
You
booze.
sponsor us, I will drink it on air, okay?
Exactly. The show gets more and more interesting.
Give them the beer, just give me the money.
Okay. But Boosh, you don't make the rules here. All right. You're not the champion. You're wearing your fake belt.
That's right.
Fake,
That's my shot.
fake news belt. Listen, but let's get to it here. Don't burn yourself, Des. Don't burn yourself. Now that we have discussed everything that's not relevant to the show and lost about half of our listeners, so now we are excited to host you because you're the real ones. So Booch, let's go through. Give us the final tally on how it all shook out. I was incapacitated on this day. It was like early in the morning, was it not?
It's real simple.
It was 5 a.m. It was at 5 a.m. because it was Australia time, so it's 8 o'clock their time, 5 a.m. our time because of that. And of course, it ends with we had a tie, but the tie was between Desmond and myself. We both got perfect scores. Wens made two very bad decisions, and as a result, was not even close to winning this championship. Like he made some good. One might have been a good guess. The other one was definitely not a good guess.
Which one are you referencing? Let's just get to it. Go ahead.
Well, if I recall the group chat correctly, I believe the prediction. God, this is so long. God, this is so long ago. I gotta scroll. Let's see.
It really was.
I love how he talks as if he's actually popular enough to have people message him.
Oh no! Oh, trust me, there's a lot of people messaging me. They say like, "Do you really get a lot of phone calls on days of wrestling shows?" Yes, I do. That's why I have to put out.
Yeah, but they're off of Gator.
Yeah, well, Gator, Elvis, sometimes
Gator.
but they're dying down. So the predictions that Wens messed up on were the last two matches. The bad choice that he made was LA Knight winning the Chamber. We knew that wasn't going to happen. I love LA Knight, but that wasn't going to happen. He rolled the dice with Nia Jax.
Mm-hmm. I always do.
That was a bad
every
choice.
single time, Booch. You know I am a sucker for her.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker.
I'll tell you right now, it was not a bad call. They definitely prepped the story for both her and Rhea against Becky. So I understood where you came from with that one.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they're going to take the belt off of Rhea at this point, this late in the game, they're going to hold out till Mania.
Yeah. But the LA Knight was not a good choice. But
No.
Just to reiterate, in case you missed it the first time Booch said it, LA Knight was not a good choice.
it's not in this match. And I love
boy.
LA Knight.
Oh, boy. All right, so let's go through from the top. The women's elimination match was the first one. Fast forward to the final three. Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, and Becky Lynch. There was a point where I thought it might be Liv Morgan. It might be Liv Liv's time. And you know what? So be it. She's gotten so much better over the last several months. Booch, I know you don't agree, and that's fine. You can have your day in court. But Becky Lynch came in number one, and she left as number one contender, as Michael Cole said. And listen, dead ahead, Rhea Ripley and the Man squaring off at Mania. You called it before, Damascus Des. That is the matchup. We'll give our way too early predictions for that, hopefully, unless we forget before. By the way, hard cutoff in 20 minutes, and I mean it because I got to go eat some chili. We're making chili too. So it's a chilly night. That's why I said it's a chilly night. It's great. All right. So this match, for me, the last 2-3 minutes was the best part when these kinds of matches, because it could be anybody at any time. But so much happened, just so much action all at once. And like I said, Liv Morgan at the very end, it looked as if she cleared out Bianca. Then she was perhaps going to turn around and clear out Becky, but Becky had other ideas. She sealed the deal, and here we are. Thoughts on this women's elimination match, gentlemen?
It was done very well. It was the spots were pretty it was brutal enough without being overdone. It really pushed the envelope, and they made it try to look like anybody could win. The only thing that I'm really not a fan of is how quickly it was Tiffany Stratton, correct?
Yes.
How quickly she was taken out kind of bummed me out. I felt like she deserved a little bit better of a spotlight in this match. I knew she wasn't going to win, but it was one of those, you could have done something with it. Make her look a little bit better.
Yeah.
But otherwise the match was phenomenal. It was, no real complaints. We were right. Becky won. There was there wasn't really no questioning it. Well, going into the match, there was no questioning it. Like you said, they made it look like Liv could.
For sure. So all three of us agreed on that one. Booch, any thoughts on this match?
Yes, I loved the beginning of this match because I saw something on a wrestling show in modern wrestling that I haven't seen in God knows when, and that was actual wrestling. Like, I saw Becky and Naomi working. No BS, no stunts. That didn't happen until later on in the show, usually when Liv Morgan entered, and that's not even a biased thing. It was wrestling till she showed up, then there were flips and stuff, but I'm saying there was wrestling, there was working. I was mesmerized. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. Like, it was, and I'm not going to talk about working. I'm talking like old school, like WCW type working. Like, if you saw that in 93, it would be like it would be a holy shit moment. Like, I loved it. Really, my only complaints were, one, the botched blockbuster from Naomi. That did not go well. And Tiffany coming off the pod, again, and not even fault of Tiffany, but the fact that just like every time when people come off, they're all scrunched together, waiting to catch her, clearly making it obvious that they're waiting for someone to fall on them, which it buries the hold. And it's not even a fault of Tiffany, it's the fault of the people down there not selling properly. So it kills the whole momentum of that. And my third gripe, and I'll go more in detail about this later because we have another chamber match, as much as I love Tiffany Stratton, as much as I love Bianca Belair, and Wenz, you know better than everybody how I feel about Naomi. You and I, we bonded over Naomi. So we know all three of these women, none but love, none but respect. Not happy with the fact that there was a Raw Championship title shot on the line. There were SmackDown people involved. I feel like that's a slap in the face of the roster. Now, I know some people are thinking, well, and I know Des and I have had to talk about this, where, it's a chance for two brands to fight for something, get a choice, and it's kind of like the Rumble. The reason I respectfully disagreed with him on that was because, at least with the Rumble, there are two title shots on the line. You have Raw and SmackDown people together, and they can choose which brand to go. With the Money in the Bank, you have multi people from brands because they can choose which brand to go. Here, there's no choice. You have one Raw Championship. And the thing that WWE keeps trying to sell the audience is that this brand split is a good thing because you have a strong enough roster. You have strong enough people to have separate brands and separate championships. If that's the narrative you want to push and you want to convince people, then you got to utilize the Raw talent that's there. Like, yeah, they had Becky Lynch, they had Liv Morgan, they had Raquel Rodriguez, three perfect people. But you have enough people where those SmackDown didn't have to be in there. You have Natalya. You have Indy Hartwell, who, yeah, granted, she hadn't been on TV, but she's from Australia. So just having an Australian person in the chamber can help that out. You have Nikki Cross. You have Shayna Baszler. You have Zoe Stark. You have Xia Li. You have Sonya Deville. There's a roster of women here that you easily could have used. And if you want people to take this brand split seriously, to take these separate titles seriously, and not look at this as a joke, which a lot of people still do, then you got to use the talent properly and not make it one-sided. Now, I'll have more to say about that when the men's chamber gets here, but that was my biggest gripe. You did not need the SmackDown people for this. Again,
And I disagree. I think the concept of the possibility of someone being able to go after the other title because maybe they've already lost to the champion on this show and they get a shot at the other title, do it. And it's a good chance to switch up the rosters a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to end up mixing it up at the next draft or say, hey, this is a one-time only or a very special match. We're going to do one of these, because ultimately whatever it takes to get the agenda done is what will be done. So, yeah, there it is. We missed the pre-show match. Booch, did you want to talk about the Kabuki Warriors at all?
No, I didn't see this match. I didn't want to see this match. Again, I felt like they did Indy dirty. That's a long story short. Like, I knew she wasn't going to go over, but to not only put her on the pre-show and job her out, I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I knew it was going to win from the very beginning, so no reason to talk about it unless somebody else wants to.
Nope.
I'm enjoying the Kabuki Warriors as champion. They only just got the titles. He wasn't going to change hands. I mean, let's be real here.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Candice and Indy, the better looking team, but the Warriors are way better actually wrestling team. And
I'll be real with you. I'm a fan of the Kabuki Warriors aesthetics, so I like the Japanese ladies.
Hey, you're into what you're into, Just saying. You know what? The next match was like a total freaking a squash match, but in the opposite form. So for the whole time, the Judgment Day was losing, right? Until the very end. And that's how you know, ladies and gentlemen, who's going to win a match. Whoever comes out of the match getting their asses kicked is who will win the match, which is ironic, right? You end up thinking great start. Like in a football game, you get out to a 21-0 lead. Chances are you're not going to squander unless you're the Atlanta Falcons. You're up 28-3 against Tom Brady and the New England.
Realistically, any Atlanta team.
Atlanta team.
I love my home state. I always root for the home team, but if it comes down to it, I ain't betting on them.
Yeah, and nor should you. And anybody that would have bet against the Judgment Day, you should know better, at least at this pay-per-view. Now, not to say what happens at WrestleMania. It's on a different day. WrestleMania 40, big things popping in Philly. Not going to happen at a C-level pay-per-view, and that's what the chamber is.
This was a road to WrestleMania pay-per-view. It's a starting of a story, not the end of one.
Yep. And Judgment Day spoke, and they spoke loud at the very end, stealing a win. Booch, thoughts on this match? It went a long time. It was almost 17 minutes, something like that?
17 minutes and 25 seconds to be exact. And very enjoyable match. The New Catch Republic have amazing chemistry.
They do.
And I love tag team matches where the more tag team combos I see, believable tag team combos that I see,
DIY?
I am by the match.
DIY would have been equally entertaining.
Oh, yes. I love DIY.
They could have been here. Yeah. Why not book them, Booch? If you're Triple H, why not book them in this match?
I don't know. They probably has more plans for them later. Because I think the plan now for WrestleMania is that the Judgment Day is going to drop the titles to the Awesome Truth. Ooh. So I feel like with that going on, he doesn't want to risk jobbing DIY out or giving them a victory to halt a story. So it's I'm going to pull back on them for now because WrestleMania is kind of like the start of a new season in a sport. The day after WrestleMania, it's clean slate, new season starts. We're building to WrestleMania 41. Yep. So a lot of times you'll see guys kind of get pulled back a little bit, kind of like in the playoffs when they bench a player, hey, until the big game, the big moment, hey, we're going to hold you here for now so you don't risk injury. That's kind of what they're doing. We're going to pull back on DIY for now, and then after WrestleMania, when there's a clean slate, we can throw DIY in there and build them up. So right now, the goal is to get to Mania. And I think, again, with The Miz and R-Truth, and what they've been doing with the Judgment Day, it looks like they're the ones that are going to take the belts. So that's why I would say don't book DIY. I'd rather they sit at home than take an L.
I completely agree with that, actually. It's one of those times where New Catch Republic, they've been on a roll. They can take this loss right here and be all right. But DIY will just completely stun their momentum. There's no point in it.
All right. Well, let's get to the longest match of the night, and that was the men's Elimination Chamber match for an opportunity to face whomever at Mania. And I did not think that Drew McIntyre, the new and improved Drew McIntyre, the savage Drew McIntyre, just a side of Drew I've never seen before, would take out a Bobby Lashley, a Kevin Owens, an LA Knight, a Logan Paul, and Randy Orton. Like, dudes, like, you better be serious about Drew McIntyre if you're going to do this, because you kind of like stepped over some people. Drew's already been there. In my view, it's just me. Why not pull the trigger on LA Knight? Why not pull the trigger on Logan Paul? I'm not, you know, Booch, you know.
I have the answer.
I know you do. So that's the question. I want your answer. Bring it. That and the chili. I want to smell it. Well, I'm going to waft it.
It's to me, it's really simple. Okay. You don't, because we all know their eventual goal is to put this title on CM Punk. So we know that Seth needs to take a little bit of time after he drops the belt to recover from injuries. That's what he's building to right now. So what they need to do is they need to have people for Punk to come back against and basically run through, and they don't want LA Knight to be that person. Drew McIntyre winning the title will be great for him. He'll get the win, he'll hold it for a couple of months, and then when CM Punk returns, he will be okay to drop the belt to CM Punk. On the other hand, you don't want to do that to an LA Knight. You don't want to do that to a Bobby Lashley, because that's just going to make them look weaker.
I agree on the CM Punk front, but Bobby Lashley, I kind of feel like he's at that point in his career where he's going to start putting people over. You know what I mean? Booch, do you agree with that?
Yeah.
He's on the down. He's like, if the mountain was here, Bobby Lashley's on the other side. He's teetering, right? He's already gotten as far as he's going to go. I mean, right? Is he really going to be a champion, guys, again? No, in my view. Just going to be honest.
I can definitely see him as a champion again, especially now that he has the Street Profits backing him.
Okay.
He's going to be a champion, but it's not anytime soon. And the thing is, this goes back to what I was saying earlier about the SmackDown people taking over. Like, at least in the women's chamber, it was split 50-50. Drew McIntyre was the only Raw superstar competing for the Raw championship. If that's not a f*** you to the Raw roster, I don't know what is. And it bothered me because, again, this is about the whole purpose of a brand split. The whole reason you separate the brands is to build up talent. You're supposed to build them up. By doing this, you're burying half of a roster.
I actually agree with you at this point, because of the fact that, like you said, at least with the women's, it was a even split. It made it give a chance that maybe somebody was going to jump ship. Here, it's just like, well, we've only got one person on this particular roster.
Exactly. In case of point, I'm sorry. I was going to say, case in point, we have Bronson Reed. Desmond and I, big fans of Bronson Reed. Everybody loves Bronson Reed. They even mentioned on commentary he had history wrestling in the independents in Australia. Why would you bring that up and not even put him in there? You have a reason. But instead, they buried him in favor of Bobby Lashley, who we knew was not going to win because he's in a feud with the Testament, so he's not jumping ship. Then you have Sami Zayn, the guy who everybody's been high on, everybody loved, that WWE couldn't stop bragging about how he took Roman Reigns to the limit last year. And yet you bury him in favor of Kevin Owens, who we knew was not going to win this, who had no business being in this, because they were trying to build a story about him trying to take the U.S. title back from Logan Paul. And I love Logan Paul, but I didn't want to see him in there because he's the U.S. champion. Now, granted, I don't like The Miz either, but at least he's a Raw talent. I would have preferred that. Or hell, LA Knight. I love LA Knight. But you could have put in again, I mean, granted, Ivar is not worthy of a title match, but he's been doing so great at the singles, he would have looked good in that chamber match.
Well, hold on. Let me pause there. But because Des, you're nodding, but earlier you actually disagreed with what Booch is saying right now. Because you said, why would you put LA Knight in that?
Well, here's the thing is, I 100% would love to see an LA Knight win this. But I agree with him that it wasn't going to happen now. It just wasn't. That makes no sense, storyline wise, to put him in at this moment. Despite the fact that he is absolutely talented enough, it wasn't the right time.
There it is. All right. With 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left, let's get to the singles match for the Women's World Championship. Again, I am a sucker for the siren song of Nia Jax, the Irresistible Force. And they booked her, like you said, it could have gone either way. Awesome match. And also, she's lost some weight. She's more versatile. She's more agile in the ring, outside the ring. They took this match outside the ring. And I love it. I love the physicality. I love the physicality that Rhea Ripley brings. She's really coming out as, I mean, she's always on top, obviously. But in terms of storyline, hey, as far as storyline goes, like, she's legit, man. And I'm worried that Rhea is going to be burying people for the next long while after this win. This was the one, even though it's a C-level pay-per-view, in my view. Like, I thought if this is the time to shock, because I feel like even the CB level pay-per-views, they have to swerve you once so you still watch. I feel like this was the match that they could swerve us on and still bring it back eventually, Mania or thereafter. But they didn't. I was wrong. Your thoughts?
I mean, you're like I said, this could have gone either way. They definitely set up a story where Nia Jax had a way, but I disagree with you because they definitely made a big deal about Becky Lynch getting her title shot at Mania. I feel like she's going to be the one to take out Rhea Ripley. I don't see anyone else at this point who is legitimate, who's been legitimized enough by the company to take out Rhea. So this is just one of those situations where I feel like Nia losing, it's one loss when she's been winning a lot. So I think that right now, this is the moment that you build it up. You have the first one-on-one match between Rhea and Becky takes this win and finally dethrones and Rhea Ripley.
This just in before you weigh in, Booch. I feel some outside interference coming in from Nia Jax in that match. I feel like it's going to be a dirty win, and it sets the path for this ongoing saga for Nia Jax. Booch, what say you?
Stellar main event. They delivered. And again, this was Rhea Ripley, the Australian person, getting the main event, which is why it worked. Again, playing to the Australian audience. Both these women delivered, and I think that anybody that doubts whether Nia Jax can work, I think the answer was given right here. Now, would I say this is the best match that Rhea Ripley had? No, she's had better matches than this, but this is definitely the best match of Nia Jax's career. This is the best match she's ever had. It showed that she can work. It showed that she is safe. It showed that she can, put on a great match and have great psychology and everything else. Like, these women a lot of pressure was put on them because women don't get the main event often in WWE. They don't. Mostly because the men that are main eventing are megastars. So the pressure was on, and they delivered. Like, even after Rhea Ripley won, nobody was disappointed. It was 14 minutes and 35 seconds, and it was, out of all the four main matches, it was the shortest one, but it was also the one that was the most entertaining because there weren't a lot of, they didn't rely on high spots and tricks and everything else. They just fought and tore the house down, and it shut up a lot of doubters. There were still some people that were trying to make excuses, but at this point, they just sound stupid.
There were a couple high spots. There was that one off the turnbuckle, that fisherman suplex off the turnbuckle that Ripley gave to Nia.
Yeah.
Right, but those are powerhouse moves that happen in big man matches.
Yeah.
It wasn't a crazy It wasn't people doing suicide dives and moonsaults and
I
that's
don't know.
coming from the guy who likes the suicide dives and moonsaults.
I'm just saying, there's not much you can do with Nia Jax, and the win came right after that move. So just saying, that was almost a finishing move. That was like 10 seconds after that move, the match ends. So
because that's one of those moves where you go home after that.
Yeah, and everybody.
Nia's like, I don't take bumps like that. What the hell, man?
I mean, it wasn't off the top, but she's probably like 300 pounds or close to it, and she had to help, obviously. But all right, so our way too early in the last minute we got to go. But last minute we have way too early predictions for WrestleMania. As far as the women go, we're going to talk about the women. Go ahead, Booch. 10 seconds, go.
I see at WrestleMania, I think Becky's gonna take it. They're gonna put the belt back on her and give her that run. And I think Bayley is going to take the SmackDown title. I think both champions are losing their belts.
What about you?
It's the time.
What about you, Des?
100% agree with the Bucci. 100% agree with him.
And there you have it. You're not going to get my predictions. Cut the music. Okay, turn it back up. Until we get closer to Mania, and then you will get the predictions of your soon-to-be WrestleMania champion. But until then, we will never, ever leave you without a couple Pete catchphrases plus one, including that of which of the wins. Have a nice day.
Bang, bang.
Gilly Pam.
Woo!